Hello, so this is a kind of better late than never videos, considering this figure here has been out for a pretty good while now. But I figured I would make a straight up comparison video to inform you of which He-Man figure is the better one. And originally I was pretty happy with this guy. I thought his head sculpt was a little bit wonky, so I tried to repaint the eyes and it made him a little bit better, but not a lot. So my plan was to simply buy this figure here and swap his head. But it turns out that there are a few more differences than I originally expected, so let's just get over them. So starting off with the most glaring difference, this here is an homage to an old toy called Battle Armor He-Man, and as you can see, he's got this big piece of armor over his entire torso, and they masterfully implemented that into Masters of the Universe Revolution, which I thought was amazing. However, I don't particularly like this look, so off it goes. I didn't think that this was actually removable, but it's very easily removable with a couple of clasps, like so. And yeah, it just comes off like a shell. And while we're at it, I'm just gonna put this on for a more straight up comparison. Boom! Magic! So, as you can see here, the figures are very similar yet also very different. Starting off, this guy here, the original release, has a very yellow skin tone. Meanwhile, this guy here has a really realistic skin tone, and it kind of reminds me a lot about Cadium Flesh, which is my go-to paint when I customize figures. And it's just such a rich, nice, wonderful skin tone, and it kind of makes this guy look like he's sick. Furthermore, the differences are in the loincloth here. So both of them are kind of like rubbery, but this guy here, it's a lot more pliable. As you can see here, I'm using the same amount of force, and this moves out of the way and allows for better articulation. Like, this guy isn't bad at all. He can kind of kick out like that, but this guy, yeah, it's no question at all which one is better. Furthermore, we can take a look at the accessories. So this guy comes with the aforementioned battle armor. Like I said, it's a pretty great piece, and it also has a removable like plate here, and you can swap it for a damaged piece, which after about 10 hours I seem to have lost to the void. So just imagine that there's a piece that looks exactly like this, but there's a big like rip here. So boom, we can throw this away. I'm never going to use that. And they also come with one extra set of hands. This guy comes with just fists, which is pretty great because He-Man likes to punch things. And this guy comes with one fist and one kind of just relaxed open hand. In my opinion, this guy wins two fists way better than this kind of... I don't really know what to do with this when it comes to He-Man. I mean, I guess he can shake someone's hand, but other than that, it's all in the weapons. And this guy comes with an axe, which is also an homage to the original toy. And as a kid, I actually used to have... I'd never had an actual He-Man figure, but I did have the axe for some reason. I think I got it in like a flea market or something. And this guy here comes with his iconic power sword and his shield, which is also an homage to the toy. I don't think he ever uses the shield in the show, and I'm not really used to seeing He-Man with a shield, and like whenever I play a FromSoft game, I never use a shield, so away the shield goes. So now we have a more kind of even ground to stand on here. So starting off, this axe actually does look a lot better than this sword. It's a lot better painted, the details seem a bit sharper, and I love the contrast between like the kind of dark matte gray and the silver. This kind of just looks like cast plastic with some very minor silver paint. The mold lines here are kind of ugly, if you notice them. Like, you could always, like, if you really wanted, you could just maybe like, you could just kind of like draw a knife here and tidy up the mold lines a little bit like so, but you shouldn't really have to. But anyway, there it is. So aside from the paint job, these are two identical figures. No, they're actually not, because this guy has, for some reason, I don't really know why, a completely new upper torso. I think the rest of the figure is actually identical. If we compare the muscle groups, yes, everything is identical, but I can show you the new torso. Also, this is a good time to show that the harnesses are actually different too. This one is a little bit thicker, has some more silver paint on it. It's either silver paint or cast in that kind of metallic looking swirly plastic. I'm not really sure, but this one does look infinitely better than this one, which is just kind of matte flat gray. And they come on in different ways. This one aesthetically looks a lot better, but it's also a lot more annoying to remove because you kind of have to like get these stupid clasps undone. So in comparison to this guy where it's just like so, and now it's off. But anyway, very similar torsos. This guy here, his chest is bigger and wider, and you can see the muscle groups here on the side. They just jut out a lot more on this guy, giving it more of like this V shape. And it's also a bit bigger. As you can see, his muscles here just go up further on this guy, and he has more of a neck. Again, you can see just how much better the skin tone is on this guy, and you can see some details here in the muscles where it's just missing on this guy and they're present on this guy. So I am super happy with how everything got improved for this release. The paint job is also slightly different. The gold is a lot better on this guy. This guy has actual gold paint. This is just cast yellow, and it looks pretty awful if I'm gonna be honest. Same with this thing here, and same with the gauntlet. The gauntlet is also painted a more leathery color here, and I really appreciate that. This, like, pretty much the entire color palette on this guy is just vastly superior. Same with the boots. This guy has a little bit harsher of a wash, which kind of helps dirt everything up a little bit. This guy also has a wash. I don't know if this is like case by case, but I like the wash a lot more on this guy. So in case you didn't really get the memo, this figure here is just better in every conceivable way. Particularly the head sculpt. We can just compare them quickly. Just the proportions are a lot better on this guy. This guy has weird, I think it's mainly the lips, I think, that are really weird on this guy. And I think the head is also too small, but there really is no comparison in which figure looks better and which one has a better likeness to the show. So I say throw this guy away, and then just take his sword, put it into this guy's hand like so, and boom, you have the perfect Netflix style HeMan. And I am extremely happy to have him. Oh yeah, one more thing. This guy here has a hinge that goes like this, which means that you can actually aim the power sword upwards. This guy has just the regular kind of side hinge that isn't very useful when it comes to holding weapons, because whenever you use a sword you would do this, and that's exactly what this guy does here. So you can also have him kind of like point his sword at someone like so, or like I mentioned earlier, you could have him point it straight up in the air and it's gonna look perfect. So everything about this HeMan figure is perfect. This is something we toy collectors say a lot, but I think after this guy, I'm never going to need to buy another HeMan figure ever again. So that's for this comparison. This battle armor HeMan, give him a power sword from the original figure, and you are set. He is perfect. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed.